Hi, hello, aloha, welcome back. I'm recording today from, had to come outside, it's too beautiful not to, but I'm down here at Forest Hill Park. Just took a quick run around the park. Well, I mountain bike, so I took my bike out, took a quick lap around the park. I was feeling a little too anxious to get on my bike today. It's too beautiful. And I was gonna head back into the office and record the video for this week. And I thought, you know what the heck, I'm here, I'm ready to go, I'm feeling good, a little sweaty, a little dirty, why not do it now? So here we are. So today I actually am redoing what is gonna be labeled as the part 2 to my rice experiment video. I had recorded this video last week and oh my gosh, it was a bit much. It was like a 40-minute long video. I really didn't want to sit down and edit all of the sort of, not even that anything was unnecessary. I felt like it was all good stuff, good content, but I just felt like I could definitely narrow it down some. So wanted to really just try to keep this part 2 video short, sweet, well, maybe not short and sweet, but more simplified. And then maybe I could do a part 3 if y'all are really wanting to kind of get deeper into the rice experiment and what all the implications are, and just more in depth into positive, negative energy and how that can more deeply impact our lives, and even getting into maybe some of the science of that stuff. So I thought, you know what, I'll keep that stuff for an even deeper video if you guys vote for it, but I'm gonna actually just wait to get feedback on that. I don't want to go and record that and then nobody be interested. So if you all do want to see that, maybe give me a yay or nay down in the comments. Maybe well, I don't even want to say click thumbs up on this video, because that could just mean that you like this video. So if you specifically, want to see a more in-depth part 3 to the rice experiment, just go ahead and leave me either a comment down below, or when I post to my business Facebook page, you can feel free to leave the comments there. And that way I'll know to move forward with that, or just kind of drop it for now. Maybe somewhere down the road we can kind of come back around to it if I'm feeling inspired. Okay, so now that I've already gotten to ranting, and it's probably already 40 minutes long, just kidding, let's get to business. So for those of you that didn't see my last video on basically just introducing the rice experiment, introducing my experiment, giving you the results of my experiment, I will, if I can figure out how to link it in the information cards like above, I'll do that. If I can't figure that out, then I'll just link it down below. But if you just search my channel, it's literally the last video that I posted, and I only have 2 videos this far. So I'll do my best to do the link things and stuff. But to briefly summarize it, there was in the original experiment and in my experiment, there's 3 different containers. They're all from the same batch of cooked rice. One rice container I labeled, so that was supposed to be the negative jar, and I labeled mine, I hate you. The second rice container that was labeled was supposed to be a positive jar, container, phrase, whatever. I labeled that I love you. And then the third container was the ignore container, the ultimate results. So this is now my experiment has been running for a little over 3 years exactly, and the ignore jar and the I hate you jar both decayed and started rotting almost immediately. I mean, like within the first week, they both started getting moldy within, think a couple of months, to be honest. They were like completely molded and rotted. And then over the years since they've been cooking, they've kind of turned into this yucky soup. The I Love You jar, that even 3 years later, no refrigeration. And I honestly don't even talk to the jars on a daily basis. I just sometimes do and sometimes don't. Anyhow, the I Love You jar is still good food. It's living food. It still is fermenting. Not a speck of mold on it. So the other thing that I left out, more just because it was extra information, but I do think it's relevant and important, especially for those of you that want to replicate the rice experiment and do your own thing, is when I originally did the experiment and I was sitting there with my I hate you jar and writing I hate you on it, and then I even paused and had a moment of kind of like praying, if you can call like repeating a mantra of I hate you as a prayer, which I wouldn't, but it was like I was really creating a space of what I would experience as genuine hate, genuine disgust, genuine loathing, and I was really going there with it. And then when I switched over to do the I Love You jar, it was the same thing. I really went to what I feel like is a sacred space of God love, of unconditional love, and I really sat in that, and I really did my best to channel that to that rice, I say jar, but container. And I'm thoroughly convinced that it was being in those authentic spaces, especially the authentic unconditional love space, the God love space, that is the reason that the I Love You container has not rotted at all. And I'm not joking that those containers have been sitting in my office for over 3 years. I have clients that come in and out of my office almost every day, except for my off days. And so, I have plenty of people that can vouch for this experiment, that it's authentic, that it's genuine, and then it literally has been running for that long, and the I Love You container is still living food. So last video too, I got more into the implications of the ignore jar, and so in this talk, which I don't even, hey, still under 10 minutes. All right, I'm not doing too bad. Hope I'm not going like too fast and flying through it. So for this video, I wanted to more focus on now just the obvious implications. So like the power of positive and negative words, thoughts, energy, and especially when it applies to food. And so I think in my intro video, I briefly mentioned I'm a holistic health practitioner and I'm a holistic health coach. And so I have had the privilege of working with some people and trying to help them set some new, dietary goals and just overall wellness goals. And one of the things that I really tried to focus on is actually not, we do address diet, so I don't want to give a misconception that when I'm working with clients that we don't look at diet, especially if weight loss is a goal. We do, but I more importantly try to reinforce connecting with your food. What are you eating and why are you eating it? How does it make you feel? And then before we even put that food into our body, what are we thinking of the food? So I've, at one point in time, I used to work for the Vitamin Shop, and it's a supplement store, mostly supplements. They kind of actually do sell some groceries now. And one of the things that I used to see and notice a lot is, people coming in, and obviously, it's a supplement store. So for the most part, the customer base was somewhat of a health conscious customer base. And so, and people coming in and wanting to take interest in all kinds of supplements for all kinds of reasons. Sometimes it was, just for protein, to supplement with extra protein. Sometimes it was utilizing various herbs to help with stress and anxiety, to sometimes weight loss. And then other things like, the foods that we label as superfoods now, and all of like the super like powders, as far as like making green drinks and green smoothies and stuff like that. Those products were really popular, and I would imagine they still are. I don't work for that company or anything like that anymore, so I'm kind of out of touch as far as how well those products sell. But I would imagine, because I still see a lot of those kinds of products advertised on Instagram, social media, whatnot, that there still is a big market for them and they still sell a lot. And I don't even want to try to say whether the products themselves are good or bad. My point is that I would see people coming in, and we'll just go with like the green super smoothie powders, and people coming in and getting these powders, and just usually asking for a health associate's I don't want to say advice, but recommendations. Is this good? Is this bad? And over time, if I started to notice that a certain return customer was kind of always either doubting themselves, doubting their choices, just very stressed about what they were putting into their body, I got to a point where I started recommending people to, maybe let's put the smoothies down for a little bit. And if anything, if you got a lot of stress going on, and if you're really desiring to take a supplement, maybe go with, a multivitamin or at least a B complex. And there's a reason for that. But if you're stressed and if you're so full of doubt about whatever it is you're getting ready to put into your body, even if it's the most amazing, picture perfect source food that you can think of, but you're stressed and you're got all kinds of negative thoughts, filled with doubt, whatever the experience is, and you're getting ready to put that into your body. Now let's kind of go back to what the rice experiment is showing. So when we put positive things on something, it seems that it has a life-enhancing effect. If we put negative thoughts on something, it seems to have a destructive effect. If we ignore something, it also seems to have a destructive effect. So if I'm putting something good into my body, good, that's a relative term, by the way, and all the while I am stressed out of my mind about it, what do you think that is going to be doing in the body? Do you think the body is going to receive it? That your state of mind is going to even allow your body to take that in as genuine sustenance, as genuine source of nutrition? Or do you think that because you're freaking out in here, or stressing out, I don't want to say like freaking out might be too strong of a word, but if you're stressing out in here, how do you think the rest of your cells in your body, whether it's the cells and organs within your metabolic system, your digestive system, or it's all the other cells of the body, including muscles? I think there's actually some research into this, and it shows that it's not received well. That the body, if you're up here stressed and seeing what you're taking into the body as a potential unfriendly thing, your body's going to respond to that. And it's also going to see it as an unfriendly thing, as a violation or a violator or whatever, a toxin. That's kind of like a hot word right now. And so, I'm wanting to highlight this part of what I think is the other obvious but very strong implication from the rice experiment. And the other thing that I notice being a holistic health coach is too all of the stress around our actual diet, like physical diet, what we're eating and what we're putting into our body. And the other obvious thing that the rice experiment to me is trying to say is that it's not just about the food itself. It's about the energy that's being put into the food. And so say, for example, I recently heard a story of, and I think it was actually something that was shared on social media, about this older woman. I think she was from Europe, and she I think she had gotten into like her 90s or something like that, and somebody was interviewing her, I think, just like what her secrets of longevity were. And she was super proud to say she drank 3 Dr. Peppers a day, and she had to have her 3 Dr. Peppers a day, and that was her secret. And it's just like, oh my gosh. But the real kicker is she said her first doctor told her she better stop drinking those 3 Dr. Peppers, otherwise they were going to kill her. And I guess in this interview, she says, well, then I had to get a new doctor because he died on me. And and I'm sure all of us have somebody that we can think of and know of, like personally in our own lives, that don't follow all of the healthy lifestyle recommendations, and yet they keep living and keep on ticking and are doing just fine. What's the difference? And I'd be willing to bet if you looked at their attitude, you looked at their general disposition and their overall constitution on life, that's the secret, that's the ticket. And so, as a holistic health coach, but just also as a lover of life myself and a holistically minded person myself, really the key to diet, what we're putting into our body, is not just the physical, it's also what kind of mental diet do we have, what kind of language diet do we have, what kind of diet in our heart do we have, all the diets, what kind of social diet do we have, what kind of entertainment diet do we have. And because all of these sources of sustenance have an effect on us, and we can see that through the rice experiment. Because again, the thing in common with the rice and with us and with almost all living matter, at least on this planet, is almost everything contains rice, water. And water is the greatest conductor of electricity, and we believe it's also the greatest conductor, just period, of almost anything. And so, that's it, that's the common thread. And so if we're constantly emitting some kind of frequency, and you can control that frequency, why not? Why not give it a genuine go to clean up then, not just your physical diet, clean up all the diets? And I would be willing to bet if we all start doing that to, our genuine and best efforts, and just, if you're a person that loves to hard charge it and go for it, and you're like, what, I just want to wipe the board clean and start all over, go for it if that's genuinely sustainable for you. But I think for most people that's not sustainable, and so most of us have to go about making these lifestyle shifts in micro adjustments, in small increments, and that is fantastic. Keep doing the micro adjustments, and don't underestimate how big those micro adjustments can actually be as far as the effects that they're having on your life, the change that they're having in your life. Like for example, for something to be a toxin versus a medicine, sometimes is the smallest degree of a dosage. And so, just don't underestimate the power of micro amounts, micro adjustments. Work towards those things. Those things I have found for my personal self, and then also in working with people, those are how we make the long-term sustainable changes. So just keep checking off those little boxes, get your little dopamine surges. That's all good stuff too to keep you going. But if you're a person that is stressing out about your food stop, it's not doing you any good. Come back to yourself, come back to your grace, and don't underestimate too the power of praying over your food, the power of giving your food its own sort of cleansing charge, if you will. As a Reiki practitioner, I can tell you about all the numerous studies that have been done on, for example, petri dishes filled with sewage bacteria, and Reiki masters basically cleansing those petri dishes of all of the funky stuff and basically turning the little petri dish ecosystem into a living, thriving ecosystem instead of a decaying one. So this stuff is real. It's not, like some, I don't know, magical, like untangible thing. Like it's kind of intangible, and yes, we can't still see it yet, but it's here, it's around us, it surrounds us, it pervades everything and even us, and we are a part of it. So tap into it. It's there, and energy itself is it's wanting to be played with, but you have to acknowledge its existence, like the rice experiment. You can't ignore, because that just turns to decay. And two, acknowledge it and give it some love and gratitude. And so, if you're a person that, lights up at the thought of having one Dr. Pepper a day, I don't want to necessarily promote like that one older lady drinking 3 Dr. Peppers a day, but you know what the heck, if you're clean in all other places of your life and that's the sort of only pitfall that you've got to claim, I don't think you're doing too bad. And please just recycle your cans or plastic or whatever. But if there's a bad food, as and I keep putting these things in quotes because the way that we label things it's arbitrary, it's kind of made up, and so all of these labeling systems are pretty relative and subjective. So anything that you might deem as like a bad thing, but it's a thing that gives you genuine, authentic enjoyment, or even like an experiencing of joy, then just indulge, and really like indulge, be with it, be with the soda, be with the Hawaiian ice, or I don't know, whatever it is, but be with it, enjoy it, take it in, so that way you also feel really satiated from that, and like, oh, that was just delicious, I'll take another one, or not. But I think you get my point. All right, so all right, this time not too bad. I kept it under 25 minutes, better than 40. So yeah, basically what I'm saying is, please stop stressing about your food so much, about what the kind of diet of what you're putting into your body. And even if you can't afford organic or whatever, okay, whatever food, whatever nutrition, whatever sustenance you are putting into your body, just stop and say a moment of gratitude. Thank you, I love you, and man, I can't wait to eat this. I'm excited, you know, whatever. But try to not ever take something into your body when you're in a bad place. You know, there is a saying, I believe it comes from AA, and it's an acronym, HALT. HALT when you're hungry, angry, lonely, or tired. And so if you're any one of those things, or you're just in a funky place, I would say stop. Don't eat anything for the moment, because just under stress, your body's not going to be able to digest that food anyways. So just give it a moment. Maybe drink some water, and as you're sipping the water, you know, try to maybe turn as best as you can some of your energy towards gratitude, towards love, even if it's just, all I can do is, I'm grateful for this water, I'm grateful for this water, I'm grateful for this water. And just, you know, take it the little micro steps at a time. And then, you know, it'll be much more well received by the body. I'd be willing to bet. So that's it. And I guess we're just gonna end it right there. I kind of don't really have like an official sort of like I was gonna say outro. I think that only pertains to music, but I don't have a sign-off message yet or anything like that. So I'm just gonna say bye for now, and we'll see you next week, hopefully. And again, anybody have questions, comments, and especially if you would like to see part 3 to the rice experiment, would like basically a more even, an even more in-depth commentary, just let me know, and I would be more than happy to do it. And I think that's it. All right. I'm getting better at this signing off thing though. All right, aloha. We'll see you next week. Bye.